Hey there, it's Jen Healy, and I'm back with day 8 of this Fearless Challenge that I'm calling the Be Brave Challenge. And today I wanted to talk about caring what other people think. So the fact that we care about what other people think is such a natural part of our life. It actually does come from our survival mechanism and deeply ingrained in our DNA that we want to stay alive, and to be part of the herd meant survival. And so it is such a deeply ingrained habit, and it's good to care, but not care so much that I or anybody else would be willing to limit their expression. And so after doing this for a week, and I am enjoying it, it is challenging, but I'm really embracing the challenge and leaning into that. And when I do something public like this, I'm noticing that I am starting to be careful and want to make sure that I'm using certain disclaimers or that I'm not upsetting anybody, right? Because there's a lot of opinions out there, and that's okay. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. And still, I want to be authentic and know that me telling my story and telling my truth is my highest level of integrity. And part of doing this series is to share more about myself, and it's okay if other people have differing opinions, and I do appreciate the questions and the comments that I've been getting, and I will address certain things and just weave it in as we go along here. But somebody was asking, how do I reconcile between the quote-unquote hocus pocus stuff that I offer and the more hardcore scientific background I have, and what is my own process of dealing with that? Well, first, I like to say that I don't have any conflict about it because I don't see it as contradictory, or I don't have a conflict within myself because for me, they're not opposing. And so I find my relationship to science and spirituality complementary, and I like to blend them. And the more that we learn about the new sciences like quantum physics that we're just getting familiar with and starting to understand our consciousness and our spirit. And so we're really just experimenting. We're at the beginning stages of truly exploring on a soul level who we are. And I also feel like we're discovering more and more that there is science to be explored, and new science and new information is coming on board. So, for me, there is no conflict, but I do appreciate the fact that some people don't see it the same way, and it is difficult for them. They have some disharmony around it, but that's not my experience. And so, yeah. I'm very comfortable with blending science and spirituality, and I don't see them in competition. But I also know that we have a lot more room to learn and to understand and to grow. And I look forward to us being able to deepen our experience and for science to represent that, because we're always making new discoveries along the way. So we're not done. We're never done. We're still discovering. So I wanted to address that, but I also want to make sure that when I am doing these videos that I am committed to sharing deeply and openly and authentically, and that if a topic comes up and people have different opinions, I completely respect that and own that, but this is just my own personal journey. And so since I noticed that I was starting to care about what people think and limit myself, I thought it was a great topic to bring up and to share, because why do we do that? What is that insecurity? I had a great conversation today even with my client about it, and that we do care, and it's good to care, but not care so much that then we're stepping out of who we truly are and our own authentic expression. And it does take a lot of courage to show up and tell the truth and share who we are. But ultimately, I believe, and I'm still practicing it every day, who we are truly, our true self, is so much more lovable and interesting and enjoyable than any sort of character or mask that we've been wearing and that we have been pretending just to fit in or to meet societal standards. A lot of the business world, a lot of the structures and systems are really creating archetypes. They're creating characters of who other people think we should be, or who we interpret and think other people want us to be. But really, there's an opportunity here, particularly with a fearless challenge, to be more true and to speak whatever's on my mind. So I wanted to share that and go deeper into understanding, where does that come from? Why do we care so much about what others think? And that feeling of not enoughness, just reminding myself and encouraging anyone out there listening that your true self is more than enough. I'm more than enough. And that's how we get to this practice of more love instead of less fear, and to acknowledge the fear. Whenever I hit a bubble like that and I'm like, oh, I'm starting to notice that I might limit the topics that I'm talking about or limit what I'm going to say, I'm like, oh, I'm caring what other people might say or might think of me. And just embracing that, just acknowledging it is enough, and leaning in anyhow, doing it anyhow. And every day I'm going to share something new, something different. I'm going to kind of jump all over the place. And I appreciate some of you asking, what were the messages I was getting when I was walking around talking to Spirit when this first happened when I was 24? Well, I'll keep sprinkling that in and address that throughout the series. But really, it was a lot of what I've already shared about that Spirit is always here, that my higher self, has been there the whole time, and that it loves me and embraces me for exactly who I am. There's no judgment in that space. It feels so freeing to be in conversation with another being, another person, if you will, that is just so available and open and wise. So a lot of times I really love even communicating to the spirit of another person. If there's any sort of conflict that has come up or misunderstanding, I check in on the soul level, and I have that ability to commune with anyone on that level, because all of our spirits are actually connected, and it helps me gain so much perspective. So yeah, I was shown with this conversation, the questions I asked were like, why is there suffering, and how come there's war, and what is the meaning of cancer? Why does cancer even exist? Because I was studying medical physics at the time and switched over from the quantum world to try to better understand the knee injuries that I was experiencing in grad school. And consistently, Spirit would tell me that everything is actually here serving you. It's serving you by helping you understand life, by giving you contrast. It actually is serving. And sometimes that is hard to hear, like that our challenges actually contain a gift. But what I also have learned over the years and recognized is that we don't have to learn through suffering. We can actually create situations in our lives where we accept and learn through joy. And that one is a really big one for me, especially when challenges come up. So can I drop in and be easy about it and trust? Because that's a big message that Spirit keeps giving to me around trust. And even in this conversation about addressing caring what other people think and being courageous enough to lead with the truth and be open and the power of authenticity, it is a big trust piece. It's trusting, for one, that I can handle whatever comes my way, whatever message comes my way, whatever people have to say, and their feedback is up to them. But also no longer giving my power away. Because when I'm afraid of being judged, and at one point in my life, not too long ago, I found criticism and judgment just completely debilitating, then I'm really not understanding the gift in it. First of all, I know for sure whatever opinion someone else has is really just telling me more about them and where they're coming from, and I don't have to take it on, but it gives me an opportunity to go inward and ask myself, is this true? Do I believe this? What obstacle or block is still present for me, especially around my insecurities or feeling good enough or any sort of issue around confidence, when I receive any sort of criticism or judgment and contrast, I go inside and ask myself, what is this hitting? What belief system or what value system is being triggered for me that I can grow and overcome? And sometimes it's easier than others to do that, but it is an opportunity. So I wanted to address that, how to overcome these kind of difficulties that we have, not only in communication, but receiving other people's feedback, and how to care without caring so much about what they think. I think it's really important that I address that. And I'm really happy to share this with you and appreciate you listening. We'll come back tomorrow and I will be spontaneous with the topics. I'm going to continue on with talking about my job, relationships, home, self, health, source. But if there's anything you'd like to ask me, feel free, and I will look forward to addressing that in the comments. Thank you.